What's up, everybody? I'm back on here for another video. Week 10 of commercial dive school is done, so I'm gonna go over kind of what we did. It was our second week of offshore. So, well, actually, let me back things up. If you're not familiar with who I am, I'm Hunter Oakley, and I'm doing like weekly recaps on how my school up in Seattle, Washington is going, called the Divers Institute of Technology. So basically, for the past 10 weeks since I started school, I've been going over what I did each week. And so this one's week 10. So if you haven't seen the other ones, go check them out. But yep, so Monday, I did my first. If you haven't seen the last week's video, you probably should go check it out because it's kind of dealing with the same thing, but I explain more of what we're doing last week versus right now. So we have basically in offshore, we're doing the past 2 weeks, we'd been doing 3 different projects. There's an Exxon project that is basically 6 flange faces that you have to put together. So one's a big gate valve, and then you have 4 T flanges, and then another gate valve that comes up in the middle of it, and you got to fasten all that and put in all 48 bolts and tight. That's one of the projects. That one you get to do with somebody else. And then there's 2 on the other side of the barge in the other moon pool doing 2 different blackout projects. So one of them you have to bring together, they're at different heights in the water. You have to bring over a gate valve to a T-flange and bolt them together completely blacked out with duct tape over your hat. And then the other one is basically the same concept, but it's 2 90-degree elbow flanges that you have to bring together, and you just have to bring those together with a trucker's hitch or anything of that nature, any way that you could get those 2 together without like a come along or something like that. We're doing so. The first day, Monday, I did my first blackout project, which was the trucker's hitch, and I got it together actually really fast. Brought it back together, then realized my umbilical, because you can't see anything, so I routed my umbilical through my trucker's hitch. So once I got it all the way tight, I felt where my umbilical was going, and I was like, no way. So I basically just had to back it down, I don't know, 5-10 feet, because they're probably 10 feet apart, but one's at a different height, so they're actually further than that. So I had to back out my trucker's hitch, crawl through my little hole that I had made, and then retighten it back up, and basically sat there. I don't know, probably would redo the way that I did this project after the fact. My theory was to get them both close enough together, then just go through the face of both flanges and tie a stopper knot on one side and then just yank them together. Well, you can yank them together, but then if you don't tie like a square knot or something to tie them off, you're just basically going to yank it together. And then the second you let off tension to get another hand on there to put a bolt through, it's basically, you might as well forget it. So I sat there, wasted a lot of time wrestling that. Then I lost comms, guessing in the middle of my wrestling these 2 flanges together. One of my comm wires got caught on something, and it barely broke one of them. So I went back up, got those fixed within like, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes. So I killed a lot of time there, went back down, and I knew that when I came up to do, because I had a feeling my comms went out because I'm getting line pulls, and then I'm trying to talk to topside and he's not answering me. So I'm either one of 2 things has happened. He's just being an idiot and not listening, or my comms went out. But I was like really in the middle of something, and I was like, dang it. So I just tied this half-ass knot to, I thought it was a quick square knot, but I mean, I didn't want to sit there and make them panic and not come up. So I just tied off a really quick knot, and it didn't hold. So by the time I went up there, got my comms situated, went back down, I had a feeling it wasn't going to be where I wanted it all to be, and it wasn't. So I basically had to restart and do everything I just did over again. The project had completely swung back apart. So I'm like, whatever, fresh start. Anyways, long story short, I got them together, cranked it out, and with enough time, or actually I didn't completely finish it, but I mean, for getting, I think I got 5 bolts in pretty tight out of 8. I'm happy for that being my first time even doing that. Then Tuesday, I was the standby diver for that same project, so nothing really too exciting happened. I just floated around and made sure that those guys were all good and secure, because we're kind of on a rotation depending on where we get placed or whatever on what we're doing that day, or we can kind of request what we want to do. And I wanted to do that blackout as much as I could, because the Exxon was difficult, but it was more of a team thing. I knew that I could handle the Exxon, but the blackout one, I just wanted to get the most experience that I could in these past 2 weeks being blacked out. So anyways, Tuesday I was a standby diver, so I kind of could watch again and see where I made my mistake. And so it was kind of cool that the day after I did mine, I mean, it would have been better if I did it vice versa, but whatever. So I kind of saw what some of the guys were doing that I probably was making the same mistake with. Anyways, so nothing too crazy Tuesday. Wednesday, same thing. I got a reped dive in the week before, and so just the way that things rolled out, I wasn't even able to. There wasn't enough room on our dive bill for me to dive on Wednesday, so I just tended all day. Literally, it wasn't anything fancy. Just helped everyone out, you know. And then Thursday, I got a dive with the Gorski 3000, I believe it's called. I was the first guy in our class to dive with that hat. Most of us have only been doing like Kirby Morgan 37s, 97. A couple of the guys, including me, have used the 17B. I really like that hat. And then luckily Thursday, our instructor was like, hey, you guys want to try out the Gorski? So I was the first one to try that out, even though that was during my blackout project. So Thursday was the opposite side. So Monday I did the blackout project with the trucker's hitch and the line. Thursday I did it with the come along. Same deal. Got it together. Actually got it together really fast. And I had a plan. Should have stuck with my own plan, but because now it makes me curious to think that I could have got it done a lot faster. But I got them together really fast. Same thing kind of as my blackout project. Got them together really fast, and I just couldn't get them lined up right. And for a while I got all tangled up inside of that too, because I think maybe I rushed it too quick off the bat and didn't make sure everything was in order. So I spent a lot of time untangling myself. And so once I got everything situated, because so yeah, did that. But I wish I kind of would have experienced that hat a little bit more. I was more focused on trying to get those stupid things together and wrestling that gate valve with the plan that I was a little iffy about. And everyone was like, no, that's probably the way to go. That's the way we've been doing it. And I was like, okay. And I listened to them, which I think I should have listened to myself. I don't know. You live and learn. Anyways, but yeah, that Gorski hat was pretty cool. Didn't feel much different, but other than that, that's kind of, I'll actually put a picture in right here. So that's pretty much it. That's all we did for the 10th week. Now, week 11, we're starting on hazmat, so I will get back to you guys next week. And I appreciate you for tuning in, and we'll see you then.